Hi guys, if you're new here, my name is Caroline. If you are not new here, welcome back. Today we are going to be doing a paint with me while I chit chat about creative blocks and creativity in general. So I just want to start off by saying that as humans, we are literally all creative beings, regardless of if we're artists or if we're writers. We all have creative energy and we all use it in our everyday life. This video can be helpful for anyone, and I hope that you get out something creative to do, maybe start a painting or a drawing while you listen to this video. If you are interested in things like spirituality, creativity, manifestation, and wellness, and combining all of these things into your life to align to your highest self and become the best version of yourself, subscribe down below and like this video. Let me know what you want to see next, and let's get into it. For so much of my life, I think that I let my creative blocks stop me from creating in general, even though it's something that I love so much. And when I'm in the flow, it feels so amazing. And after all of these years of creating in so many forms, like drawing, writing, painting, I have realized a good method of recognizing when it's happening and what to do when I'm starting to feel blocked. And I hope that sharing this with you today helps you in your creative process. From my observations in this lifetime through myself and through others, creative blocks typically happen from self-doubt, lacking focus, not being in the right headspace, energetic blocks, comparing yourself to others, and literally just the simple fact that life ebbs and it flows, and we are not made to be creative at all times. The other, biggest reason, especially nowadays, is that we've been spending too much time on media, absorbing media, and just having too much stimulation in our everyday life. And this can be a distraction. This can fill our brains with so much unnecessary stuff that has nothing to do with our life, our ideas, creatively and not creatively. I also feel like it's important to say that some of the media we consume can actually have a positive effect on our ideas and our creative abilities, because I do find that when I'm surrounding myself more with Pinterest, for example, it gives me so many ideas for my artwork, and it inspires me more than if I were to be absorbed on Facebook. That's just filling my brain with stuff that isn't productive towards my creative goals. So I guess if I could say one thing, probably the biggest takeaway for impacting your creative blocks and your creativity would be, what kind of media are you absorbing, if any, and how can you sort of tailor that to your creative goals? How can you find pages to join on your social media that will inspire you instead of fill your brain with unnecessary nonsense? In general, I just find that the more space that we can create in our mind, in our brain, in our soul, the more room we have for creative ideas to just drop in, for creative downloads to just show up. And there are several ways you can go about creating the space. I'm just going to be sharing what works best for me and what has happened in my experience. And a lot of the time, it is simply just taking a step back and doing something mindless. Like literally today, I was trying to come up with a really great idea for a YouTube video that I'm creating, and I was so freaking stuck. I could not come up with anything, and I sat down at my desk trying to do it, and then I was like, you know what, no, I am gonna get up, I'm gonna go for a walk to the mailbox. And that is exactly what I did. I stepped outside, I did something mindless, I went to the mailbox, I came back in. You know what, my idea didn't come then. You know when my idea came? It came when I was at the microwave heating up my lunch. It's seriously the most mindless things, the most human things. If you take a step back from your phone when you're doing those things and you're just present in the moment, a lot of the times incredible ideas will come from those simple little things. It's also so common to hear of people getting their best ideas when they're in the shower, but this is exactly why. It's because when we're in the shower, we are not distracted by little things on social media. We're not distracted by TV. We're literally just with ourselves in our thoughts, experiencing life right in the moment, and that's when the best ideas can come to us. So in order to have more experiences like how you have when you get your best idea in the shower, you can also just cook dinner without external stimulation. Avoid social media, clean something, spend some time in nature, go for a walk, do a workout class. And I just want to emphasize the fact that you can't put pressure on creative ideas. Sometimes literally all you need to do is get some sleep and reassess your creativity the next day. Literally, I cannot emphasize enough how much better I feel when I get some sleep and I wake up the next day and it's a fresh new day. It's new energy, and you can create anything with your day when you do that. Literally, from the moment you get up, you can start your day on a positive note, and you can set up your day for creative success. Leave some room for some mindfulness. Leave some room for doing things that you enjoy. Leave some room for some mindless activities, and your best creative ideas will probably come. Another big piece of advice is if you're feeling really stuck, sometimes all you need is a change of scenery. And this is huge because a lot of the time we favor areas in our home and we favor certain spaces to make our art or do our writing, and sometimes all we need is to step away and go somewhere fresh. Like, it's kind of cliche to say, but go to a coffee shop, go to a library, go to those places where you can sit, have a fresh change of scenery, and the energy there might be totally different. But also, simply don't underestimate the power of the space that you have at home, because a lot of the time, the more time we spend creating at our desk, in our art corner like I'm shown here, the more that space is infused with our creative energy, and that can be super powerful too. But I just wanted to mention that getting a change of scenery is also just a really great option if you're feeling super stuck. Like I said before, creative energy is not constant. It can never be constant. As humans, life literally just ebbs and flows, and we cannot control when creative energy comes to us, but we can control what we do with it when it does. So a huge piece of advice that I can give you is when you have the creative energy, take advantage of it. Do a lot, do as much as you can. Obviously, don't burn yourself out, but make lists of ideas and make sure that they're organized so that when your mind isn't in the right headspace, you can fall back on your list. When you're not in the creative flow, you can fall back on your list, Make lists and make sure that they're organized, because I know, at least for me, in my experience, when I create a list or I do something when I'm in the creative flow, it has to be super organized for me to understand it when I am not in the flow, for me to actually be able to execute the idea. So make sure you make your lists and make them as clear as possible when you actually have the energy. Something that I've experienced when I get stuck in a creative block is I will get super stressed because I'm trying to put a timeline on my idea and I'm trying to put a timeline on my creative process, and that is simply not a good idea, especially if you are trying to do something new and groundbreaking and something that you want to be super proud of. If it's new to you and you're putting a time constraint on it, that's only going to stress you out and keep you from relaxing into the idea and relaxing into the flow. I promise you that if you take your time and you don't put pressure on a timeline, that you will create something that you are much more proud of than if you are putting pressure on it and then you create something that is not up to your typical standards. The biggest takeaway from this, if I wanted you to take away anything, is the more space that you allow and that you create for yourself in your day-to-day life intentionally, the more you'll be able to stay in your flow and in your creative momentum. And by space, I mean like doing less and being selective with your plans, and focus more on filling your time with positive and even mindless habits, and limit distractions like social media, because a lot of the time it's not productive towards our creative goals. And if you're able to find a balance between social media and the parts of social media that are productive towards your creative goals, that can be such a beautiful thing. When you create that space mentally, it will allow so much more room for ideas and downloads to flow through you. And it'll just make creating so much easier and so much more enjoyable, because you will not have the added stress of feeling blocked constantly. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know if you would be interested in more videos like this in this form of content, and let me know if you created anything while you were listening. Okay, I love you. Bye.